parked in fire.
Oh.
He runs into Starbucks.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
Your family's been here and done this.
Forever.
Give it two.
Great person.
Go for a 2-minute warning.
Thank you.
He's on. Okay, good.
That's fine.
A lot of extra chatter.
So,
Address, I just put 40 Public Square.
We were supposed to get the mayor to turn on cameras here.
Oh, okay, I'll go get him. You want to sign that?
Is the camera on?
Just put 40.
Hey, the camera's on.
Cameras on? Okay, perfect. Never mind, Scott. Cameras are on.
The microphones are off, cameras are on. Okay. I don't think we have any of those. All right, we'll do it.
You guys ready for, let me turn that on.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was.
Let me know if I can do anything. I will. I take care of Columbus.
There's only, I'm doing something, so I don't have to too much.
I can drive it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's,
you're live and you're recording.
all right. It is 4 o'clock. We'd like to call the Board of Property Maintenance Appeals to order this 30th of July, 2025. First item of business is swearing in of our new member, Mr. Vernon.
I have sworn in Mr. Metzger, and he has signed the oath of office, and we are ready to go.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Brian.
Welcome. This is somewhat of an organizational meeting. I don't remember the last time we did this, but we do need to, I'll look at Rob, need to elect a president of this board. Is that correct? Any other officers?
We would just elect the president.
Yeah. We'll take nominations for president.
I'll make a motion to nominate Brian Ball as president of the Board of Property Appeals.
I'll second.
Are there any other nominations?
Move to close nominations.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor of closing nominations and electing me president, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thank you. Glad to serve again. Next item of business, again, bring dust off your memory banks a little bit. We have the minutes from March 14th, 2023 that have been distributed. This was the green building by the railroad tracks.
Mr. Ball, if we can go back to the very beginning, in the call to order, we need to have the roll call
Oh,
for
yeah.
the quorum.
Sorry about that. Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, we got that. We should have done the swearing in, then let's do parliamentary correction. And Mrs. Hall, would you call the roll?
Mr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Christopher?
Yes.
Mr. Menzer?
Yes.
Ms. Delozier?
Yes.
Ms. Breckler?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Okay, Mr. Varn, we have
We
a
have a
quorum.
quorum.
Okay, we have a quorum. Okay, before we move on. All right, back to the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as distributed.
I second it.
Great. Is there any discussion, any updates, changes, corrections? Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes from March 14th, 2023, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. All right. We're finished the administrative portion of the meeting. Okay. Before us, we have one case this evening. That is the property at 2 Marma Drive. So bringing this case would be our, what do we call this? You're the Code Enforcement Department?
Yeah.
So we can start by, I guess it would be Brian. Come forward, and we need to have you swear in and present the case.
Can you, where's the oath?
Yeah, got it right here, I'm sorry. My name is Brian Marvin. My address is 40 Public Square, Mount Vernon, Ohio. I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God under penalty of perjury.
All right. So everyone has received your report. Please give us.
Okay. I will give you the synopsis, and of course we have photos and everything to help support anything we might say here today. But when I took over this position back in April, one of the first calls I got was to an address over on Emmett that wished to report to me a situation that had been going on, as he said, for about a decade over at 2 Marma Drive. He took me to his backyard, wanted me to see what the situation was. And we viewed the property at that time. I saw the fence was decayed from back there. There was a lot of vegetation growth coming up over the fence. And as I observed the house, best of my, I'm not an animal guy, but a turkey buzzard crawled out of a gap of the attic and flew away from the home. In short, I began the process of code violation notifications to try to find out what was going on, observing the house to try to find someone home at some point. This went on essentially from my start in April, end of April, through to beginning of July, trying to find someone at the house, trying to send notifications. We got next to zero responses on anything until the very end, at which time we did have a conversation with the homeowner and had a verbal conversation, explained to them everything that was going on. Still didn't see any real positive action. We obtained a search warrant on July, I believe it was 1st, to go and view the home internally to see what it was like inside, because from outside it looks like it was structurally failing. There was some decking that was decaying, the windows were boarded up, the roof looks like it was failing. So we did get the search warrant approved, executed the search warrant on January 2nd, at which time we got about as far as the dining room before we were told to back out again because of the state of the home. There was debris piled up in the kitchen. We heard rats audibly squealing as we entered. So we backed back out at that point, and at that point I began the condemnation process.
Great. Is this, I don't know if I mean, does anyone have any questions at this point? We can.
The interaction with the homeowner. Rob, did you have something? I'm sorry.
Well, it may make sense to go and start showing some photographs
Yeah.
of what it was like.
I was going to say, what I'd like to do is kind of document the history of the home photographically for you, because
Yep.
my predecessor and his predecessor left all of their documentation for me, and I found it all after we started all of our process. Part of my investigative process, I found his information. So if you'd bear with me, I'd like to kind of show you what we have.
Right, because again, what I was going to say, from a citizen perspective, we're not asking folks to go see this in person. You're welcome to drive by, but as far as going on the property, that's the responsibility.
Okay, so the earliest photos I found were 2015.
These were in the records of the Property Maintenance Enforcement Office?
Yes, when Greg's items were transferred, Greg Bemiller, when his files were transferred to me as part of my job, I searched through his data and found these. So this was the property in 2015. This was from the back. He was called to the same residence I was called to for essentially the same thing in 2015. That is the backyard in 2015.
Just for clarification, was that an opening in the home?
That is oh, I'm sorry, let me make sure I understand what you're saying to me. Let me bring the picture back up so we can be clear. These are, if that's what you're referring to, that is like a porch area in the back of the house. And these, I guess you call them vents or whatever. This is where I saw, when I was there, the turkey buzzards would crawl out of and fly out of.
Okay.
Oops. The next series of photos we have were a few years later in 2017. I didn't find any in 2016. Again, the backyard. The fence had collapsed. I found the report on this. The fence had fallen down at this time into the neighbor's yard once again that I'm referring to. So Mr. B. Miller took the series of photos that day. That's 2016. Or I'm sorry, 2017. My mistake. 2017. Move on to 2018. This is, again, Mr. Miller apparently having the same issue I was having with communicating homeowners and such. So if we can't, we'll post a notice on the door for them to find when they finally return to the home. If anyone wants me to stop or pause or go back, please let me know. That one kind of jumped through, but. See the plastics now torn out of the windows, exposing all that area now.
Are those windows open or are they just?
They go into the patio, into the back, like enclosed patio area.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the law state? Why is this house, in your opinion, needs to be condemned? Besides,
Well, it's
it's
on. He'll finish the.
Okay.
He's going to finish the pictures, and then that's the next item.
Okay,
We'll go into
thanks.
detail, Russ.
all right, thank you.
And then he's going to come with recommendations. So we have.
Okay.
Okay, so we're moving on to
We'll finish.
2019. And while I'm showing these, oops, kind of bounced right through those. It's important to note too that the best we could find, and I can't factually say this 100%, but it appears that the water was turned off somewhere around 2018 to the home and not resumed. So the best we know, the home was vacated around 2018. Oops, lost my pictures. Just bear with me here while I get them back.
Here.
All right, stand by. There we go. Okay. So we left off at 2018. Go on to 2019. I think we did 2019. Okay, so
Yep.
2020. There's not a whole lot. They had an issue with a vehicle that year, but you can see the house itself in the background still, right there. So, but this particular set of photos are only to address those vehicles for Mr. B. Miller. (2021) Again, he's still addressing vehicles, but the state of the fence and some other items are visible in the background. Care for the yard's visible. Moving on to 2024, and this will be the last folder as far as Mr. B. Miller's concerned. And I'll show you what we've, again, this was just to address a vehicle. But again, you'll see very little change in the backdrop for the home. Now, when I took over, I began my own set of photos. So we will go back to my earliest here, April 24th. This was my first visit to the home. You'll see now that the windows are boarded. And then I think my next one are June, April, May. No, we went to May. So this is my visit May of this year. The porch was gone. It's rotted out. Vegetation's overtaking the front of the home. The window areas here, you'll start to see separation, rotting going on. These are those same cars that were in the back. The Dodge truck's kind of off to the side there. This is the backyard from the left side of the home from the front. This is the side view of that back porch area. If you remember seeing this truck in some earlier pictures, that'll show you the amount of care and age that's been going on, the collection of debris on it. And this is the front of the home. This is the right side of the home towards 2A Marma. That's the right side of the home from the front, the backyard area. See a truck bed or something sitting back there propped up on its side. This right here, pay attention to that. That is a structural member failing. It's snapped in half in the middle and beginning to sag, which is holding the back end of that porch area up. And also, let me see if I can get you back on that one. Up here, you're going to see a lot of wood rot up in there. That's up in the roof area, the eaves of the home. You notice all the gutters have fallen down and been disconnected. I don't think any were connected. Some of them were missing.
And all these photographs are included in the report and in the packet that was given to the members.
Yeah, the paper packet I constructed. These are all the
Yeah.
same photos.
So,
Okay. Should I go through all of these or should I get right to the search warrant? Move on.
Is it
I think
necessary?
let's go to the last set that we took on
Search warrant day.
July, the day the search warrant was executed.
Okay. Okay, these are the inside of the home when we went in. When we went in, we went around to the back of the home through that porch area. We found a door that had no doorknobs on. We could just open so that it entered into the kitchen.
Although the search warrant would have allowed them
Yes.
to use force if necessary, it was not necessary because
We're trying to make a soft
Open, yeah.
entry just so we didn't do any more damage to the house. Because you have to re-secure a door if you open a door. So, anyway, this is the kitchen right in here. We were surprised to see power was still on in the house, but this was the kitchen. What you see here, I believe, is the stove. No, I'm sorry, this is a stove, that's a dishwasher. Stove is right here. This white all over them, the best I know from my background is animal droppings. This was the room when we stepped in, we heard rats squealing as we walked into the room. This is the kitchen. You'll see food was just left in the kitchen when it was abandoned. instant rice and pots and canned foods. Spices still on the shelf, so the reason I point this out to you is it's food for rodents. This is looking in from the kitchen into what I believe would have been the dining room. And I apologize for the pictures being a little blurry. We had trouble getting focus. It was kind of dark. You'll see up in here, the roof is failing, the ceiling is failing in that area. All that appears to be water damage on the ceiling. This was pretty much a barricade that we didn't want to climb through to get further in. And this is about where we called it, more food items. Okay, this is kind of looking into what would have been the front living room area, sitting room. I do have some better pictures on the other grouping here of that area. Here you go. Stuff was basically stacked all the way to the front there. Here's more, you can't really see, there's a hole in the roof right here where the fiberglass had fallen out, so I'm presuming water had run through the roofing up top and made the ceiling fall out.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, this cave in, there was fiberglass down, insulation I should say, down at the bottom of the floor here.
Right.
Underneath it.
Mr. Marvin, would you summarize you give us the review of the code violations?
Yeah,
as you
if you
see
bear,
it?
we have to step back and grab
Yep,
everything I've got.
no problem. And then Rob, also may want you to talk about the code a little bit to confirm that they're not off base. Does the code still have a checklist in it? Sort of like a list of,
Yeah. I'll go through that.
you'll go through, yeah, that's what I'd like you to go through, because again, refresh the,
If I can get it up on the computer here, just read through it. Okay. Here, I'll rather than go down and get it, the sheet I have, I'm gonna cover them this way. It'd be easier for everybody. Because actually this way you'll see them straight from the walls of the city. So I can tell you right now, we'll start with 1301, I'm sorry, 0501. Which is exterior maintenance. And exterior maintenance covers basic blading, basic care for the outside of your home. Broken glass, filth, garbage, rubbish, junk, debris. This is your basic ordinance saying you have to keep your house up and not destroy your neighborhood. The next one in violation is roofs, grading, and drainage. The roof has failed, the gutters are gone, they're hanging off, the downspouts were missing. That one is 130502. 130504, grass and weeds clearly violated. The overgrowth of all the vegetation in the backyard and front yard. Accessory structures covers outbuildings, fences, etc. That one's in violation. That one is 130507. The fence is failing. It has rotted wood. It's collapsed before. It had to be propped back up. Exterior surfaces covers keeping your wood painted on your windows, your doors, anywhere around the house. That one's been violated. The paint's all peeling off, causing wood rot on there. Structural members. The deck, as you saw, is starting to give way, collapse under its own weight. Stairways, decks, porches, and balconies, 130514 is in violation. The back porch is rotten. The front porch was rotten. Handrail and guards are all missing. They're all rotten. That's in violation. Windows, skylight, and door frames is in violation. The windows are failing. The wood around them is rotting. The door on the back of the home is in violation. For one, it was missing its latches and locks. Could be opened by anyone, which puts us into unsecured doors and windows as anyone in the neighborhood could access the home. And finally, accumulation of refuse is prohibited. That one's also in violation. And that is all that we have on violations.
Great. And your recommendation for this group is?
Based on the history of the home and the fact that it's sat this way for nearly a decade now, and no attempt has been previously made to salvage the home, which has left it in its current condition, where I feel that the structural elements in the deck and some of the areas are failing, and also due to the rodent infestation in the interior of the home, I recommend this place be demolished.
Okay.
All right. I will turn to Mr. Braun to explain.
Well, so
talk
it
about.
is in your opinion that the building is is unfit for human occupation, is that correct?
Absolutely.
And was there anyone living there in the building when you were there?
No, sir, not at any point.
And how many times has the property maintenance enforcement officer attempted to contact the homeowner?
I have mailed, I believe, 3 notifications that have been returned. Then we, as our normal practice, when we're not getting a response that way, we go and hang them on the front of the door. So those hung there for, I'm going to guess, a week. I didn't watch it every single day before I noticed they were missing recently.
And were there previous attempts to contact the homeowner in your records, in the records of the property maintenance enforcement officer?
Yes, and best I can tell, and I'm just reading records from him, it appears he had the same difficulties I had of getting responsiveness. And I think that was represented by that letter stuck in the door. It's his way of saying I hand-delivered this to the home.
And you believe that it's unfit for human occupation because A, it's an unsafe structure as defined in the code, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And that's in ordinance 130201.
Yeah.
Also, you said that there is vermin or rat infested
Yes, sir.
and contains filth and contamination.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So, the property maintenance enforcement officer has recommended to the Board of Property Maintenance Appeals that this house be condemned because it is unfit, in his opinion, based upon his evaluation as well as the evidence brought up here on the screens as well as the information contained in your packet. It is unfit for human occupation. Once that charge has been brought before the board, there are 4 things that the board can do. It has to, first of all, hold a hearing, and then at the hearing, the board may condemn the structure, order it to be vacated, with further occupancy prohibited until a completion of listed repairs, condemn the structure and order it to be demolished upon a finding that is so deteriorated or dilapidated that it is unsafe, unsanitary, or otherwise unfit for human habitation. Third, find that the structure is fit for human occupation but order specific repairs. Or fourth, dismiss the case because that it was not brought with good cause, that the house would be able to be lived in. So those are the 4 things that this board can do.
Do we set the time frame for the,
Demolition
If we go for
is
demolition.
set by code. So if the board determines that it is in fact unfit for human occupancy and that it is not capable of being repaired, the board would order it to be demolished, and the demolition would be by code, which is in 1303 or 4, I forget which. But yeah, the timing for that is in code, and we'd follow that.
Yep. And I don't want to guess, but if Brian wants to look it up.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want me to find it real quick, I
Yeah.
can try.
I believe it's 1303,
Yeah.
13 demolition.
Yeah,
13,
the demolition.
Yep.
1303. I'm sorry, what was the final on it? Do we know?
13.
130313. Okay, there we go. There's your
Yeah, that's the permits and standards and all that.
demolition standards. Here we go. And this, what are we looking for in particular here?
Just how many days?
I think it's 90.
Yeah,
I think
I know we asked the question one other hearing, whether we had the
If property
the
fails to,
latitude to-
Where are we at here?
failure to comply with demolition.
Yeah.
See.
You failed, gosh, generate.
Not yet.
It's demolition standards.
You had it right there.
But while you're looking, I think the next step would be to entertain a motion for one of these four alternatives. And then, once the case is on the table, we would then accept comments from anyone who wants to talk about the
Here you go.
property.
With 90 days is your date, your
Yep.
time.
Okay.
It's under
Yeah.
12.
The fact that within my jurisdiction of Knox Public Health, we pulled the file today and looked through that. We've had solid waste complaints at that location since July of 1996. Obviously, with the pictures that were brought forth, I moved to condemn the structure and order it to be demolished.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. We have a motion on the table.
Well, we could, if you want to hear from the homeowner,
Yes. So now that we have, the homeowner doesn't know what, so now we have a proposed course of action. We would accept comments if the homeowner,
I'm the homeowner.
yes, please step forward if you would like to speak.
Had to speak from here?
nope, you have to step up
You
here
have
to
to
the
s-
microphone so you can be, it can be
We can't, it
recorded,
has to
properly
be
recorded.
on recording. And we have to have you state your address, name, and read the statement swearing in.
I'm Jeannie Armstrong. 2 Marma Drive is my home. However, I don't live there currently. I'm staying with my son, and that address is 2574 Mount Vernon Road in Newark. All right? And I've been staying there because I was very sick last year.
Ma'am, you have to swear in before you can.
Read the,
My name is Jeannie Armstrong. What address do you want?
well, you've given both of them, that's fine.
Okay, read the next part.
And I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God, under penalty of perjury. First, I would like to say, it says I may choose to be represented by counsel. I didn't find out about any of this, about this hearing until last Thursday, which was not enough time to get an attorney on board. So I would like a continuance so that I can get legal representation. So I really don't care to go into the particulars of this without representation.
How many letters have you gotten from the city?
I have no idea.
So you've known that the city has been concerned about this.
I spoke with this man over the phone about this, and he said, if I continue to make progress, and I have, we've been up there. My house is all vinyl siding. My windows, except for that bay window, are all vinyl. There's no painting to do. I have no water up there, so I can't even power wash anything. All right? And
You've never responded to any of the city's letters before, have you?
Yes, I have, over the years. Worked with
And-
the health department at one point. After the police illegally entered my home without a warrant in June of 2001, I believe, 2001. I'd have to check my records. No, they did not. So, I would prefer to be able to have legal counsel before I go any further with this. Okay?
Why didn't you ever sign for any of the letters, the certified letters that the city sent you?
I don't believe I got any. We weren't there that much. My husband was disabled, and we were staying with some of my children because I could no longer care for him by myself. And I needed help to be able to get him around and all of those sorts of things. And with no water, we couldn't stay up there, and that was in August of 2019, I believe.
Okay.
So, kind of hard to do anything, to clean anything, when you don't have water up there to do anything.
Ma'am, may I ask you, like, what is your current then action plan right now?
We've been working up there all week. I got a dumpster so we can get rid of stuff, and I know that it needed done. It's just a lot of things going on. So we rebuilt the porch. We knew that needed to be done. That was on our agenda to do. That is done, so we could move things in and out. The fence will come down. I can't tell you exactly when, because got a lot of things that we need to do. The fence is the least of my worries. So I don't know what else to tell you.
Jeannie, will you mind telling us how long that building or that structure's been unoccupied?
When they turned the water off, we couldn't be there.
Okay.
And I can't tell you more than that. It's been too, when you're the main caregiver of a totally disabled person because of a traumatic brain injury, it's very stressful, and I'm not trying to make excuses here. I'm just trying to get you to see the big picture. My husband was not able to help me with anything because his mental state had deteriorated to the point where he could barely have a conversation. You'd have to write things down, you have to try and show him things, whatever, to get through to him. And like I said, we were staying with our children, taking turns going around because we didn't want to overload anybody. And we would still go up, mow the grass, try to trim things up, all of that sort of stuff. But what was inside the house at that point was just more than I could deal with by myself. Even my only one son lives here, the rest, everybody else lives down in Newark. And they all have jobs. So it's hard to get a time when whichever one can help me, come help me. But my youngest son and my oldest son have been up here with me this week. And my second son was able to organize a dumpster for me to get up there. And we're doing what we can. We've cleared out a lot of stuff already, and we are willing to do whatever we need to do, but I need time to do it. Because I can't afford to just pay somebody to do a lot of this stuff. We have backgrounds in construction, drywall, plasterwork, all those sorts of things, built homes before. So we can do the work, but I need to have the time to be able to do the work.
Jeannie, with all due respect, and I have empathy for you, this has been an issue for nearly 3 decades, and you're asking for time.
Well,
Yeah, I want to apologize to the neighbors that are around that structure. You know, that's what I want to apologize to them, you know, type deal. I understand I hear your issues that you've had, but, you know, my fire marshal was there during the warrant investigation. We've seen some pretty bad structures in the fire service in our times, and this one kind of ranks right up there. That we even have made a note that it's only a defensive operation. We as the fire department, we will not even go into your structure if there's something wrong with it. Having a construction background, you could probably see on that stuff, it's probably very costly for the repairs that you need to bring up to that to even to be inhabitable. And to a point where it needs to be done in a timely manner. So with that, my view does not change.
so will I be able to have time to get our belongings out that we are going to keep?
I would defer to Rob. I'm assuming we have 90 days, but
Well, first of all, the board will, once their motion, and if they take any other testimony, then they will determine what to do, and once they come up with a plan of action, one of the four things, that will then set the timing for everything else. But yes, there will be time. It's still your property. Yeah.
Okay. I don't have anything else to say.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Right, other members of the audience, if anyone else would like to speak. Mr. Zimmerman, I saw you express interest. Please step forward.
Hello, my name is Scott Zimmerman. I'm the department head over code enforcement. Let's see, my address is 40 Public Square. I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and the ability to help me under God under penalty of perjury. I just wanted to, I was part of the search warrant. It was a multi-pointed. We had the fire department, had Knox Health, had the police department, law director's office was there, and my department. And this has been an issue for quite a while. And, you know, I'm not allowing my personal feelings get in the way that I've been a public servant now for going on over 31 years. And this was probably the worst structure I've seen. And before, when we first started code enforcement in the city, I was in the Parks and Buildings and Lands Department, and my crews took care of the properties, but then we would bill them. And I would have to say that this was the worst property I've ever seen. We could only make it about 30 feet into the structure. I seen where the buzzards were roosting and defecating and so on. I heard the rats. I smelled the nastiness of it all. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you hearing this case, and I hope we do move forward for demolish. Do you have any questions for me or anything?
Thank you.
Okay.
Other members of the public or departments that would like to speak?
If I may, I could.
Yeah, come on back. You've already sworn in, sir, so.
We remind you that you're still under oath.
Yeah, I'm already sworn in, so. I just want to drive home what you were addressing. The reason this became such an issue for me, it was the neighbors. I've had two neighbors basically tell me that they gave up. They've let the city know so many times about this, nothing was done, and they just done. So when I knocked on their door, they were quite surprised that we were coming around and asking again, because they've tried several times. I know she's asking for more time. I agree with what you said. It's been a decade of people waiting and living next to this property. And the neighbor, which I have a photo in here somewhere, actually gave me pictures of the rats he's killed coming through the fence into his property. So I personally just want to say, I don't think this needs to go on any further. I think it's time this came to an end. There's been ample time to repair this property. No effort was made. I know she's saying that she has hired help or got her sons in there and got dumpsters. This was the amount that was in the dumpster yesterday. That's the total. After 10 years, 2 days worth of work. And that was the culmination of it yesterday. Now, I know they've done more today because I've been by moving out furniture stuff, but my point being, essentially too little, too late. It's far past time trying to repair this. It can't be repaired. It's time it comes down. So that's all I've got.
Anyone else from the public? All right.
My name is Tanner Salyers. My address is 40 Public Square. I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God, or under penalty of perjury. I'm the Safety Service Director for the City of Mount Vernon. On behalf of the administration, the City of Mount Vernon understands that the decision to move forward with a condemnation order is difficult and deeply impacts those involved. We do not take this action lightly, this recommendation. And we express our empathy to all that are involved and affected. However, the city has a responsibility to enforce its property maintenance standards in order to protect public health ensure public safety, and to preserve the value and integrity of our neighborhoods. So this decision reflects our commitment to those principles and to the well-being of the entire community. I thank you for all of your service.
Yes, this goes all the way back to the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution, and we take this responsibility deeply. Okay, we're going to close the public comment session and then open it up to the board. If you have questions, discussion, anything else, any cross-examination?
I have nothing further.
I have nothing further.
I do, like if the city determines, the board determines to vacate this property, tear it down, who pays for it?
The owner is required to pay for it. If the owner does not, the city can then move forward and hire a contractor to do it themselves and then charge the owner against their taxes.
But then if an order is placed, then the code enforcement department will work with the homeowner to track progress, and if there's a reason to change course, they would bring it back. So if miraculously, if the house was somehow brought back into compliance, a coordination where the code enforcement department could inspect the home and discuss lifting the order, or once the house is demolished, the order would be lifted by the department. So there are some, we're making the order and we're handing that off to the code enforcement to work with the homeowner.
And if the homeowner does not comply, the Board of Property or the property maintenance officer and the code enforcement department have civil sanctions that can be applied. And like I said, if they do not comply, the city can take matter into its own hands and then seek recoupment through the property taxes.
Does that answer your question?
Does the homeowner get the documents and everything so the homeowner will understand what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Yep, there will be an official order issued by the board after the vote or whatever it determines to do, and then an official order will be entered and served on the homeowner.
Okay, we have a motion that has been seconded. Is there any more discussion or questions? Mrs. Hall, we call for a roll call vote.
Mr. Bowl?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Christopher?
Yes.
Mr. Menzer?
Yes.
Ms. Delozer?
Yes.
All right, as a unanimous vote, we declare the property condemned for vacation and demolishment. Is there any other comments or business that come before the board?
I would note that the mayor has a drafted proposed bylaws. I would suggest that the board review them and then take them up at the next meeting.
Yep.
I suspect the board will be more active in the next several months than it has been for a number of years.
Yep, those have been attached to your packet for your review and consideration. All right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor for adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you for your service.